Hello, my wonderful, fabulous friends. Sorry, I'm off camera because I'm not camera ready today. I'm not quite sure any of this is camera ready. Today, I am going to try my hand at another, what I call a crazy Dutch pour that I've recently heard has been dubbed by, let's see, Erica who's art, who's marvelous, and Rinska Dona, however you say her last name, who is another amazing artist here on YouTube. They've dubbed it the chaotic Dutch pour. I've been trying it for, I don't know, the last month, and then I ran across their videos, they're chaotic Dutch pours. So it's very similar to what I was trying to do too, because I can't seem to get a Dutch pour down right. I just can't master the blow dryer very well. So anyway, I am going to be pouring on a 12 by 24, just a regular Artist Loft canvas. It's one of those value packs by Michaels. I don't usually experiment on any expensive gallery wrapped, deep edge canvases until I feel real comfortable with a particular technique. So this is what I'm doing. I am going to be using a bunch of colors that I've had made up. I just want to use some more of these up. I'm going to be using Holbein's Luminous Violet, which is one of my favorite colors lately. I love how this reacts and looks on the canvas with other colors. And then I'm also using some Holbein Mauve. Along with that, we'll be using some Amsterdam Light Greenish Blue. The reason I say light greenish blue is because I added some titanium white to it. So yeah, we'll be using that. This is what it ends up looking like. It's just a little bit lighter than their greenish blue, not much. And I have here I'm going to add some Golden's Bright Gold that I've actually, no, it's not too thick. I did a test on that. I actually used some Amsterdam Deep Gold with that. So I mixed the two. A lot of these I've mixed up, and I couldn't really tell you exactly the colors because this one here, I'm not sure. I think it is Golden's Teal that I've brightened up quite a bit with Amsterdam's Titanium White, which I use a lot. Along with this, I'm not sure if this is, I think this is a Liquitex brand blue that again I've added the Titanium White by Amsterdam to brighten it up. I have a tiny bit left of my Dioxazine Violet. I'm sorry, this is a SoHo Urban Artist brand. There's such a little amount in there. I'm just going to pour it on the canvas and use it up. Okay, and then I have this color. I could never tell you what's in this one because this is just scraped drippings from one of my previous pours, that when I scrape up the drippings, I try to save them and reuse them. So it's a very deep color. It's a mixture of blues and some purple, or violets. So we're going to use that in there. Now, my base coat that I'm going to be pouring down for the Dutch is just a titanium white, but I'm going to blend it with some drippings from a previous pour that end up being kind of a lavender color, a very pale, like a little pale lavender color. So I'm just going to mix the two to give it a little depth. And then over these colors, I'm going to be dripping some Amsterdam Titanium White. Now what I do, you've probably noticed these jars. I get these on Amazon. This is the 4-ounce jar and this is the 8-ounce jar, and they work really well for me to mix my paint in and store my paint in. They'll last forever this way. Anytime I open it up to stir or add more, I always wipe the top edge of the jar off really well so it doesn't get crusty and get in your paint. And then I also do my drip test on a little tile. I take my paints, put a little dab of about the same size of color paint and see, make sure they all drip the same. And that's how I make sure my paints are the same. Because I'll tell you one thing, your, well, at least for me, whenever I'm using like a metallic or like these golds, they can fool you. You think that this is not thin enough, but as soon as you put it down on a tile and do a drip test next to the rest, it's probably just right. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead, open up, make sure, I'm going to double check my paints, make sure they're all good, get these out of the way, and then we're going to come back, start pouring. So grab yourself a beverage and let's get going. Okay, my friends, I have checked my canvas to make sure it's level, because what I do with my canvases, even though they're just those value pack canvases by Michaels, I still go ahead and I tape the back. I like the back of mine clean. That's just me. And I put these push pins in. These ones are called the Jumbo. No, I don't know. What can I say? Either they're called Giant or Jumbo. I have the Giant size also, which actually, if you were to compare, one's called Giant and one's called Jumbo, but it's an illusion which one's called which, because I was amazed that, okay, if this is a Jumbo, then this should be Giant, but I don't know. What the heck? What do I know? But I get those off Amazon, and I just hammer them down in there, and they're easy to take off, and they're also easy to pull out to level it. So yeah, I make sure it's level. I take my level, make sure that I know my table's level, make sure the canvas is level, and we're good to go. So yeah, that's what we'll be pouring on today. The blow dryer I'm using, we mentioned that. I have 2 blow dryers. Actually, I have 3. I have a full-size one too for larger canvases, but I have 2 blow dryers here. I have the Flower by Drew Barrymore, and I also have another travel size blow dryer, and this is a Jiniri brand, Jiniri, Jiniri brand, but you can't see it because I taped the condenser down so that it won't fall off in my paint. And you can even see where I've touched the paint with it. Shame on me. I'm not good at blow drying. So I'm going to use the Jiniri because it's kind of a smaller canvas, you know, at least width-wise. And if you can see the difference here, the Flower has a little bit wider mouth on the condenser, whereas the Jiniri is a bit more narrower. And I like that. There's nothing wrong with this blow dryer, nothing at all. It's a great little travel blow dryer for doing your Dutch pours, but I'm going to be using that one today, the Jiniri. Let's see. And it also has a cool shot button, which I like. So I can, you know, I very rarely use it on high. It seems low is just fine. It moves the paint just fine. It's nice and powerful. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay my paints down. I'm going to probably do it in like, yeah, I'm not going to do like a half and half or anything. I'm going to kind of do a diagonal. And the paints are going to go down crazy. Now I'm going to start with these drippings from the last canvas that I did. And we're just going to start, and I think I'm going to use that as my line. Just putting it all down, using it all up. It's kind of a pretty color, you know, it's a very deep color, but we'll see how it does. Okay, done. Then there's such a little bit of the Dioxazine Violet. I keep wanting to call it purple. Dioxazine Violet. Again, I think I'll kind of put it over the edge here and just let it go. This makes for kind of a deep base in this. And yes, you notice that I am not pouring my colors on a base. I'm pouring them directly on the canvas. If you want to get a more brilliant color on your Dutch pour, I found, just pour it right on the canvas and then pour your base coat or your I don't know what you call it, to make it flow better, your flow coat, whatever. Put it around there and on the rest of the canvas, so then you can continue to blow it. But in the meantime, I do it this way. Okay, now this is the mauve. Let's put some of this mauve down. And again, I did check I tested my colors to make sure that they were all the same consistency on that tile. I did a run test. And here is that light greenish blue. I don't know if you can see. You know, my paints, they are thin enough to where it'll create a mound, but then it disappears right away. It doesn't sink into itself. It just creates the slightest, tiniest mound and then just disappears. So that's the consistency I'm using for this Dutch pour. And my favorite, the Luminous Violet. Ooh, isn't that juicy looking? Love it, love it, love it. I don't know, I might be putting way too much paint down on this canvas. Okay, let's put some gold in. Oh, you know, I think I'll do this blue. Like I said, I can't tell you what color it is. All I know is it's got some Amsterdam Titanium white in it. And then this real pretty kind of a teal color. And some gold. Can't go without the gold. Sometimes gold can take over, and then other times it just sinks and goes away. And I don't know what happens to it. Okay, I'm going to take and I'm going to drizzle some titanium white over this. Yeah, so now you understand why I call it a crazy Dutch, and Rinska and Erica calls it a chaotic Dutch. Because isn't that chaotic? It certainly is. Okay, I'm going to blow this out. Hopefully not over the place, because that's what I do. Oh, wait, I'm going to put my apron on because I don't trust myself. Be right back. Okay, let's give this a little blowout, shall we? You might want to turn your volume down because here comes the noise. Okay, there's that. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop some of these bubbles. Look how pretty that is already. So pretty. And then we're going to lay down the rest of the base. Let's go with the white first. Okay. Just got interrupted. I got a phone call. I'm like, don't call me. I'm taping. Okay. I don't want to put too much base down, you know. Save a little bit of that. And then I'm gonna mix this in. And remember, this is from drippings from a previous, just dipped it in the paint, from a previous pour that turned out lavender. Okay, let's mix this paint up a little bit. Another noise coming. Kind of run some of this other base paint off so it's not too much on there. It doesn't pull this little bit of color off that I've got going on up here, which is so subtle, the color up here. And this is so vibrant down here. Stand back and take a look at it and see what's happening. This is where I have my problem, is getting the paint up through the rest of the canvas. Sometimes what I'll end up doing is taking a stick and pulling and dragging some definition up through there, which I still might do because it looks like it needs a little definition up there. But this is wacky, huh? This is my crazy part. It's got some beautiful lacing, some beautiful cells developing. Nice. So this particular pour I'm not hating. Definitely needs still practice on this upper part of me trying to get the paint to flow more up this way. But can you see what I'm talking about with pouring the paint on the canvas for your Dutch, other than the base, especially when you're doing something like this. Now, if you're doing a traditional blowout or Dutch pour, then you pretty much want to lay down a base, and then I act like I know what I'm talking about, but from watching different artists on YouTube, and just paying attention. But this is a style that I'm kind of liking a lot right now for me. You might want to give it a shot. It's fun, and that's what this is about, having fun. I guess it's been about maybe not quite 9 months that I've been playing with this paint, and it's just a fun journey. I have a lot of experiments around my studio here hanging around, and it's just a joy. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm just doing it to relax, have fun. It's a hobby. And that's why I don't go and spend a lot of money on my canvases. Although I have gone and upgraded, you know, I like the golden and the Amsterdam paints. The Holbein I'm kind of like starting to fall in love with. But, you know, I'm not going to over purchase until I feel real comfortable doing this, and maybe someday in the future, who knows, I might have myself a little booth somewhere and try to sell some paintings, but I'm not at that level yet. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the camera down so we can get a close-up of this and see what's happening. Be right back. Okay, and we're back again. So let me bring you down and we'll get a close-up of this crazy, chaotic Dutch pour. Let's see here. Okay, you can get a really good close-up of the cells, the lacing, the reaction these paints had with each other. And, oh, that ring light is just creating a glare. Let me turn that off. Okay. So, again, this is the bottom part where I just crazily blew the paint everywhere, every which way. And this is the reaction and the blending of the paints. This is that gold. Kind of have a yellow cast there. Some beautiful cells. Oh, that luminous violet. This is why I love that. Look at, oh, come on, focus, focus. There you go. It just almost looks 3D. Just beautiful. Look at those. Oh, come on, focus. Let's get up here. See some of this up here. So pretty. Unfortunately, as we get up towards the top, it just blends so much. And that's where I'm talking about that I actually have to take and give it a little definition along those featherings, because they just blend way too much. And I just take some of the color and just pull it on through up there to give it a little bit more definition, instead of it blending so much, to kind of like make this part stand out a little bit more than it does, because it's just, there's a lot of paint on this canvas, I will say that, and I'm hoping it doesn't just melt off. Now, I'm taking my drips off. You've got to make sure to do that. I always make sure I do that. I just pull the drips off. And the side of the canvas, if I find that the side of the canvas are showing through, I just pull up some of the drips off of my paper and just dab it up there, and it works out fine. And the same with the corners. I just take some of that and just dab it up there. As a matter of fact, the sides look pretty cool, I gotta tell you, with the way some of this paint ran down. Very nice. So I'm not unhappy with this pour. I do have to tweak it a little bit up top. And I just got my fingers crossed that it does dry like this, because I'm not unhappy with it. So we'll come back. Oh, I'll give it an hour and see what's happening. And then you can see if I've added any additional definition to this. And we'll check it out then. See you shortly. Okay, we're back. It's been about an hour. There hasn't been much change to this. I think we have had some more cells pop through. You can see the reaction that the Holbein paints, the mauve and the luminous violet coming through. They really react wonderfully. I'm gonna have to get me some more Holbein paints, some more colors. Absolutely, some more of the luminous violet. I'm loving that. Okay, so I really like the bottom part of this a lot. The top, not so much. Now you might can tell I did add a little definition, and I've done that just by dabbing my finger very lightly into the paint and just kind of dragging it up along those feathers, whatever you want to call those, where I did the little Dutch up top. But it blended so much, so I've learned a lesson, which is I will, of course, try this again because I am going to get this down sooner or later. So with all these beautiful colors that I put down here and blew out and just willy-nilly, just crazy, I need to add the colors a little bit, a few little short lines, depending on how many feathers I want to blow up. In this instance, probably 3 little lines, not very far up, of the colors, so that when I do Dutch blow it, that I'll have some more colors and definition up in there without having to drag some lines through there. I do like when I add a mixture of base up top. It gives it a little more interesting depth to it. But because I didn't have any of this beautiful color going up just slightly into it so I can, blow it up, it just blended too much. So like I said, lesson learned. Now what I'll do is I'll try to remember to come back to this after it's dry and show you the dry results. So each time I do a pour, I learn something new. So thanks for joining me, and again, I'm hoping I remember to show you all the dried results. Thanks. Take care, guys. Bye. Hi, guys. I am back. Now, it's mostly dry. It's not all the way dry yet, so I'm absolutely going to remind myself, don't touch the painting. So it's obviously not going to change anymore, and it's going to dry pretty much the way we're looking at it now. I have some disappointment. The bottom part I really love. This big glob of the violet down there, I'm not extremely happy with, but it's okay. I'll deal with that. However, I'm not sure what went on up top. It looks to me like we have some paint breaking down, and I really try to mix my paints so that they don't do that. That's typically caused, from what I understand, the binding properties in the paint. I try to use a better grade of paint, and I always add the it's Golden's color gloss pouring medium in with my Floetrol, so that I won't get too much of that happening, if any at all. But when you get down really close, you can see, this will focus, what I'm talking about with the paint breaking down. Try to get a little bit closer on that. Focus, focus. Maybe this isn't going to show it so great, but okay, here you go. You see this up here? I am not sure what's happening, but I don't like what it did to the paint. However, I'm not real happy with the top part anyway. So as I mentioned earlier, I learned a lesson with this on what to do and what not to do as far as blowing blowing the Dutch pour part up top. This crazy mixed up chaotic base to this, I really do like a lot. I'm extremely happy with that. You know, some of the paints look like they were going to try to break down like they did at the top, as you can see through here. And I'm not sure what's causing that either. But if I were to salvage this painting, instead of letting it dry and pouring over it, it may look just fine once it's got a coat of varnish on it. Not sure if that's the paint breaking down or just that, it could be the grade of paint. The Soho Urban Artist might not be playing so well with the rest of the paints because I did use that, and I don't use that brand of paint a lot, but I do believe that that is what's coming through even up top where I see that it seems to be breaking down. So anyway, so this is the end result at this point of my pour from last night. And thanks for joining me. I hope you visit my next video to see what's gonna happen next. I'm gonna give this another shot, try some colors that are very similar, and I think I'm gonna try using a different color base up top for my Dutch blow. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining me. Take care.